This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Applied Botanics, the leader in premium, consistent, and affordable CBD products. So happy to have them as a sponsor of this podcast because for me and many other people, their CBD oils work. And what's cool about Applied Botanics is that their CBD isn't one size fits all. They have 5 different products: comfort, focus, recovery, tranquility, and vitality that are targeted to certain health issues like stress, sleep, and pain relief. Listeners of this podcast will receive 30% off their first order with code word Popko Project at checkout at appliedbotanics.com. And that's on top of their already low price, which is nearly half the price of other brands because they feel that using CBD products should not require a payment plan. Applied Botanics. Live happy and healthy. This episode of the podcast is also brought to you by Keller's Lawn Care, Landscaping, and Garden Center. I have been using Keller's services for over 3 years now, so again, a service that I use and stand behind. It is a family-owned business who recently expanded to a new location in Exeter, Pennsylvania to provide you with a garden center as well. Let them assist you with landscape design and installation, mulch, rock, plants, trees, mowing, edging, pruning, trimming, you name it. If it's in your lawn, Keller's has you covered. Visit them online on their social media pages for more information. All right, my guest today is the founder of a company that was featured in Esquire, Business Week, Men's Health, New York Times, Modern Stylist, Instinct Magazine, and the Philadelphia Inquirer called Bluebeards Original. Bluebeards Original is a beard care line founded back in 2005 when beard care really wasn't a thing. The goal was to ease beard itch and provide natural, effective products that clean and tame even the wildest of beards. We discuss what it's like starting a beard care line when beards weren't that popular, how he navigated the business when beards became so popular that the market for beard care products became oversaturated, and how he persevered and took Bluebeards Original from a side hustle to his full-time gig today. We also get into how COVID affected the business, his family, and his overall approach to life in general. And once you listen to the podcast and hear the dude's story, head over to bluebeardsoriginal.com and grab yourself some of the amazing products that are available. Use code word POPKO at checkout and receive 15% off your order. That's POPKO at checkout, and you'll save yourself 15%. You can't go wrong. Welcome to the show, Paul Kaniewski, owner of Bluebeards Original. And we're live. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Johnny?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, very long time. We met, what was it, like 2017, 2016?
It was actually 2014.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was a long time. I believe that's when it was. Yeah, I'd put money on that if I had to. I'm not a betting man, but I would put it all on that. 2014 Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival.
Those were always fun. Bit of a shit show by the end, but
well, what do you expect when you have 30,000 people drinking all day, you know?
But there's some good stories from that.
Yeah. So, Paul, you are the owner and founder of a company called Bluebeards Original.
Yes.
And you created and founded that in 2005 when beards weren't even like a thing. I mean, they were a thing, but they weren't as popular and well-worn as they are these days. So when I met you at the AC Beer and Music Festival, you had a stand there. And I think my friend and I were even a cover image on your Facebook page for a while, too. That's how far back we go.
You might still be somewhere in there.
The photo's in there, but it's not the cover image. I checked.
Oh, all right. I'll try and rectify that if I can.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for doing this. And it's funny that you reached out to me because like I was, this podcast is essentially focused on music, 80% music. And then the rest is kind of, business owners, chefs. I just did a chef the other day and anybody kind of making a positive impact on the world around them. And I had actually been meaning to reach out to you because I've always been fascinated about your story. Like I said earlier, you started a beard care company when people were still clean shaven. I don't think beards became as popular as they are today. I'm not even sure if we're on a decline in popularity, but I think kind of like 2011, 12, 13.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably like, yeah, 2016 there was a lot of competitions. I think they even had a TV show where there was a beard competition reality show thing one season. It was pretty crazy for a little bit there. There was a it was I I don't think that beards are less popular now. I just think maybe I'm not seeing as much of a like a specific community, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Like there's beard clubs, and I know they're still there, and that's awesome. And it, but I guess like it's just more because it's so accepted. Maybe we
Right.
don't notice it as much.
That's probably what it is. I mean, I myself have had a beard. Man, I don't, my wife doesn't even know me without a beard, and I've
Mm.
been with her for 13 years. So I want to say like since like 2006.
You never
Um,
shaved it since then.
I may have shaved it once because I do have a picture of me with just a mustache, and I think I took it to work one day. But I shaved it down just as like a goatee, but that was one time, and then um, I've had a beard ever since then. But um, so yeah, I mean, you started a beer company. So I wanted to talk to you because I just was just kind of fascinated with the fact that you started a small business owner. You started something cool. Again, in a time that you know
Yeah.
was
Well,
just yeah. Talk about what the whole thing behind it was.
so it's kind of a cool story. We started in back in it was a little even before 2005. I was a law school dropout. I had gone. My future wife and I had moved to Pittsburgh. We're from she's from Ocean City, New Jersey. I'm from Bucks County, right outside of Philly. And I went to Duquesne Law School, um, which was probably a bad choice for me. It's a Catholic school. My undergrad was NYU, which is a very liberal school. So uh, I don't know, maybe it just didn't mix fantastically, but and it was just hard. And I used to sit in law school classes saying to myself, like, I'd look around the room and I'd be like, am I really going to be working with these people one day? Like, oh man, that does not appeal to me, you know? So I did my 1 year and, spent the money on that. That was wasted. And I grew a beard out for the first time after leaving. Uh, just, was in the apartment. I had a little free time and boom. But as I grew it out, it was really itchy. I was dealing with that. And my wife at the time was making all these little like hand creams and different creams and stuff. And she said, I could help you with that. Oh, got like rain coming in here. She said, I can help you with that. Let's see what we could do. So she made some formula that was like a leave-in conditioner. It later became what we call Beard Saver, but because I told her, I'm looking online. There's not any other products out there that like specifically for beards. So we thought about it and we just like invested what little bit of savings we had, which was I think maybe 15,000 like into the company and like just started trying to sell it. We made it in the kitchen at first, and then we found a local manufacturer who worked with us with our formula to put it out there. So it was pretty cool.
And that's it. You just started making it in your kitchen, and now you're
Well, no, I mean, so we make it, and then I would go around into like the local barber shops, and there was a food co-op that was the first place to take it. But it was a really hard sell because unlike today, like if you look up beard products, there's literally like there's dozens of manufacturers who make it. There's dozens of brands, if not hundreds. I mean, people making it in their kitchens, people making it, and they're it's kind of ubiquitous. When we did it, I was selling an idea, not a brand. I was trying to just get people, like a store, to take it seriously. And I was literally laughed at some places. I would walk into a store and I'd be like, I've got a beard shampoo for you, and they would say beer, and I'd say, no, it's beard. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, for a guy with like me with a beard and washing it. He's like, no one's gonna buy that. And I dealt with that for a couple of years, and it was really like we made no money with the business for the first couple of years. It was just sort of a little love project. We both worked full-time day jobs, and we moved back to the Philly area, and we kept it going. And then it, I guess, like this groundswell for beard started to pop up, and it was like a second full-time job. During the day, we'd work our day jobs. At night, we were boxing products and things like that. So it's really weird to see how just the industry has changed. And this isn't just for beards, like products, but every product. I mean, when we started, my main goal was trying to get it into brick and mortar stores. That was, and now you look today, and that's not even a thing. It's like completely different way of selling. We used to get into magazines and we'd be excited, like, oh, look, someone's doing it. Now, like, do people read magazines? It's not like you're better if like an influencer tweets something about you.
Yeah, for real. I mean, and I always joked, I mean, this podcast is going to reach 1 million people. So you're going to be flooded with orders.
Fantastic.
I wish that was the case. I wish that
one day it might be.
Maybe one day.
One day. Keep at it.
No, but I mean,
I will definitely post. I mean, we still have like, I think 35 something thousand followers on Facebook. So,
Yeah. So you start this business, and again, it's like in a time, it's kind of funny because at that time it was like, people were like, huh, what? And then you're trying to go into, you said, barbershops, and at that point, barbershops really weren't like as popular then as they are now.
Right.
So, and then you get through all that, and then now, beards are very popular, and you have 1 million people trying to sling beard products.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about like how that kind of played out. Like, how did you go from, being something no one wanted to essentially an oversaturated market?
Well, that's what I was saying when we start. Like, even my mentality had to change, because when I started, I'm selling the idea that beard products are a thing that people could want. And now I'm selling a brand, because you're right. It's an oversaturated market. There's a ton of, I don't even know how some people are making any money. Some things I'll see, and it must come straight from China is all I could figure. Cause like, oh, we're selling you a beard trimmer and scissors and a wash, and it's only $7. And it's like, it's got to be impossible unless it's coming from straight over there. Yeah. All our stuff is still made in the US, and costs have gotten higher. I mean, we keep our prices the same, but it's definitely different. And like I said, it's not, I have had to try and change. For a couple of years, it was easy. We were pretty much the only thing, and people loved us, and we got a lot of sales through that. But like anything, somebody sees that there's a product out there, and a lot of competition comes in. And it's funny. I mean, even some of there's like a really big brand who had come to us as a private label. They wanted us to private label their beard wash when they first started out. And, we kind of make everything in small quantities as it is. So it wasn't something we were looking for, but it's weird. Like I could look for more investors. We've never taken on investors to try and like keep up with these huge giant budgets, but we're sort of scaled to what we are. And I'm never going to be a billionaire off of this, and that's okay. It's a little weird to me that like you start a whole niche industry and then you're not maybe the alpha in it because, whatever. But I'm at peace with that. I make good products, and the customers we have really appreciate it. And those are like the things that keep you going with a business, or even like your podcast. Probably like you get that good feedback, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding with this.
Yeah, I mean, I was at one point doing 2 a week, and I just kind of got burned out. And then so I take a week off here and there, and I kind of realized like I really enjoy it. So yeah, and I am not a liar when I say I am a user of the
Yeah,
Bluebeards brand. I still have, you mentioned Beard Saver, have some of that still. And honestly, and I'm not going to say this to you because you're staring at me across the screen. I'm going to say it because I've tried a lot of different brands, whether it's because I like the brand, like Canon has some stuff out. I like their
right.
brand as a whole. I've gotten stuff as Christmas gifts from other like my in-laws or even my wife or whatever it might be. So I've tried a variety of different kinds, but I have to say, I'm not just saying it to you because you're looking at me. I find yours to be the best, especially
Well,
the mint, that in the shower wash with the beard and the mint smell. It's a very nice way to start the day.
I see that's good feedback. But yeah, and we've never like there's some what we've tried to differentiate is I know some brands put out like 15 different scents. You can smell like leather and cigars or whatever and bourbon. But uh, everything that we've put in there, like that is an actual essential mint that's in the product. It's not like a mint fragrance. It's actual, you know, mint that is put in there. And it serves a purpose. It's not just there to smell good. It helps with cleansing and everything else. So um, we've kind of just stayed on that focus, but I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. And Bluebeards original. I mean, where did that come from?
So again, when we're starting out, like maybe I would have chosen a shorter name if I was doing it nowadays. Uh, you're not think I needed something that if it was on a shelf, like someone would see it and they'd be like, "Oh, that looks interesting." So we wanted something that would appeal to everybody. I know Bluebeard was a nasty pirate or somebody who kept his dead wives in a room that you weren't supposed to go into, but I figured that would be kind of obscure enough that we could use the name like Bluebeard. Blue is a color that could apply to anybody. It's sort of like the Simpsons, they're yellow. It just works. And the pirate theme, we wanted like a skull and something that looked pretty cool. Um, Again, it jumps out at you. I just wanted something that somebody would pick up the bottle and look at it at least.
And did you do the design for it?
We worked with a designer, and we've done a couple tweaks over the years, but we had a pretty much a clear set of what we wanted. I'm a terrible artist, so
Okay.
it wasn't for me, but yeah, we definitely had an idea of what we wanted the the logo to look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's not common like the rest of them are. Everyone just has a brand and they say beard oil or beard wash or whatever it is. So
Yeah,
yeah, now you're
it's
doing a
fun,
brand.
right? It's fun, but
And
yeah, go on.
And
Sorry.
you appeared in, you said before, a bunch of different magazines, Esquire, Business Week.
Mhm.
What else? The Philadelphia Inquirer. I think the New York Times or New York
Yeah, at some point.
Post.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that all happen? I mean, like talk about. I mean, I want to know about how this all like
So that all happened
happened.
pretty organically. We didn't. A lot of that was unsolicited. It just came to us. The ironic thing is, I later when we had a little cash, I invested. We did get a PR company, and that was just pretty much throwing the money into a hole. I mean, it really didn't go anywhere. And we've we've tried SEO companies. I mean, there's a great gig if you can get it. we'll promise to raise your traffic in 6 months. And if we don't, oh well, we'll let you out of the contract. That's pretty much how that operated. So anybody starting a business, I would tell them to be very cautious of any companies. I mean, even reputable ones to where to put your money. You know, try and do as much yourself if you can.
Yeah, that's interesting because I mean they always say, and maybe they're better now than they were when you talk to them. I don't know. Because they say you got to be present and on the internet and in people's faces and
Right.
I mean I could imagine that we're going to record this and I'm going to post it whenever it goes up, and I'll be inundated with ads for other beard care companies
Yeah.
without a doubt. So I mean,
Yep.
I wonder if it's just better now or like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of all that because like, I feel like it's just like annoying. And I think this is possible now these days too, where I think companies can, like, if you were to serve me an ad and I actually purchased, I would then stop receiving ads from you. Cause that's the biggest gripe I have with the whole thing now is like, all right, you've been in my face for months. I bought
Yeah.
your product and now you're still bothering me. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that though is out of the brand's control, because if they're doing it on Google, Google's just going to keep hitting you up with that. If they've got their money in like a retargeting thing.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're clicked into that, and again, I have beard companies that constantly bombard me. I mean, like I get, and it's now, and I just noticed this recently, like the emails. Like if you have a Gmail account, you might see at the top of your promotions that come in, they're not even people that you've subscribed to. You'll get ads for like, we're having a beard oil sale from blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and they're paying for that to go in there. It's a little bit like, I don't know, maybe you agree, maybe I'm older, but it's a lot. It's just so much stuff, and I wonder if the consumers do reach a saturation point and they just don't want to see it either.
It's in my opinion, it's too much. I mean, it's way too much. I mean, I was just looking at cars on the internet and I'm getting car ads from like every single dealership that's local, either like even a 30-mile radius. It just, I mean, I guess it's effective, but also, I don't know, it just like you said, and
Well, you're
I
in
mean,
sales, you know the gig.
yeah, I mean, but I'm old school too. Like the fact that a lot of this happened for you like, organically and just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not like, maybe because I'm just not like as into it as maybe I should be. I don't know, but I'm also like I like the simpler times. I think the internet is a blessing and a curse. I think it might cause more problems than it does good.
Well, no, I am totally. I miss the days of like trying to sell just strictly into a brick and mortar and get that. We've we've fallen into a trap where, like, and I know, like, I have customers that probably just strictly buy from Amazon because they're comfortable with that.
Mhm.
But isn't that like a crazy thing? Like Amazon has such a share, and it's weird. Well, I don't know how many times I hear people say, "Oh, isn't it a shame? I went to the mall the other day, and it's like half the stores are empty. Oh, it's such a shame." But we all then just go on and order online. Like that's the shame. Like it's,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's convenience, right? It's like
but we're missing that connection with people by doing
we definitely are, but it's like we're so. If you look at our parents and things like that before us, like they would go to work, they'd do the 9 to 5, they would come home, they wouldn't be bothered. They wouldn't work after 5 a lot of times. They wouldn't be, looking at emails on their phones. They would come home and that was it. Like
it. Right.
it was just a simpler time. And like now we're so busy and so we're constantly on the move and on the go. It's like that convenience through Amazon is exactly that. It's a convenience, which I love, but I also hate because I love guys like you. I spent the start of my career was working face to face, hand in hand with local business owners. Like
Right.
that's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is because I want to not only focus on the musicians because I love that, but I also love the the grind that people like you have to go through. I love the passion that's displayed. I love all of that, and I love to see the underdog win, I guess you could say too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, like I said, so you have a product. Like I feel I know I have a good product. I know that people, once they try it, they like it, but it's hard to break through all that noise because there's somebody out there who's spending, I don't know, thousands of dollars a day potentially on ads, those ads that are hitting your critical mind space, in your eyes every
yeah,
time you click open your phone. But yeah, you're right. I miss the simpler times too. You make a good point. It it used to be when you did go home, you were done.
right.
Like now, I mean, look, you're doing a podcast out of the basement, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'm working out of the basement, and I'll it's a little nerve wracking because I'll sit there on my phone sometimes and I'm doing work in bed. Like,
Hmm.
how is that possible? Like literally 10 minutes before I'm supposed to close my eyes,
Yeah.
and I'm checking sales or this and that, and maybe I'll go to bed feeling great or I won't feel great based on what I'm looking at, and that's just horrible.
Or you wake up and you're like, oh, this is the great shitty start to the day, or it's a
Yeah,
great start
right.
to the day. Who knows? Like it just,
Yeah, like it's right there in your face. I mean, we do have some control over that. We could put the phone away, but it's
we're
really
addicted,
hard.
man. It's addiction. It's addiction. It's real. I
But
can't go
it's
without it.
funny. It's you speak about other. I mean, my dad worked. He did insurance sales, and he worked his butt off. I mean,
Sure.
he was in Philly, and he's like the biggest inspiration. I mean, he's passed now. He passed about 2 years ago,
I'm
but
sorry.
it was tough. That was actually the last time I shaved. He was going into hospice, and he's never liked my beard. So I was like, fine, I'm gonna shave it for him for once, but and they grow back fast. So,
Yeah. I
but
have I have to admit really quickly, I thought the company was done because I did see you on social media with a shaved face. I'm like,
yeah,
oh no, maybe Bluebeards is done. How can you have the face of the company without a beard? Doesn't make any sense. But obviously, that makes sense now, and I'm sorry to hear that.
but he yeah, but he was he's so I mean, you want to talk about a podcast that my dad he so he grew up in Philly. He had parents, but his parents didn't have a lot of money, so they put him in an orphanage. And no lie, but kept his older brother at home. And it's like, okay, and he lived there for years, and then he finally got out, and he he was he got out, lived with them for a couple years, but he by the time he was 14, he was living on his own.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so he joined the Navy. He tells me because the choice was he had to join the Navy or he was probably going to go to jail for something. Uh, and he does that, and I mean, my dad did great. They asked if anyone could type, and he lied and said he could. So he became a yeoman, and that he used to like organize card games and everything. He comes back. He joins the Philly police force. Uh, he worked under Frank Rizzo,
Oh,
and
jeez.
he was a motorcycle cop. He was a vice cop, which he has some crazy stories from then.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like getting thrown down a thing of stairs. And then his father left him a bar when he died, him and his brother, and they ran that. And then he started his own bar. And this is where his life took a big change. My older brother got leukemia, and my father goes and he had like no insurance. So he got a job with Prudential and then got an insurance plan through them. And he was really good at selling car insurance and life insurance. And like, I mean, we were never want for anything growing up, uh, thanks to him. But it's just weird the twists and turns people do with different things.
Yeah, I feel like our parents have a lot of better stories than we have.
Yeah, right. I mean, my dad used to be like he didn't even want me to have my own business. He was always like, you should get a good corporate job and stay in there, good benefits. And I get it because where he came from,
Hmm.
you know.
Well,
And I did that for a long time.
yeah. Well, a lot of that generation. I don't know how old you are. I'm assuming you're probably close to my age. But those, and my parents included, they're like, you got to go to college. You go to high school, do well. Go to college, do well. Land a job, use your brain. You'll do
Right,
well. And it's like they didn't talk about it, or I don't think they understood the massive amounts of debt that would
right.
come with that. And it's worse today than it was when I was in college 20 years ago now.
Well, in college, it's like it's sold to everybody as like and it does help. I mean, it's
Sure.
definitely opens doors. But at the same time, you have to certain kids they're just not made for college, and
They're
they get
not.
pushed into it, and they get convinced they can do it, and then they come out and they're $100,000 in debt. I have a neighbor who their son went to I think Temple he was at, and he just failed out, and they're like 60 grand in the hole for a year for not for what
Yeah. Jeez.
like
Yeah.
and maybe that wasn't for him. I always promote like I went to a community college for a year and a half before
Hmm.
I went to my undergrad school, and that worked for me. I mean, but you go to community college, you'll see all types. You've got the people who don't want to be there, like they want to get out as soon as possible and get to a good school because they screwed around in high school, like me. um, and that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to get out of here as soon as possible. I got like in some honor society. It was me and like a bunch of 40-year-olds when I was like 18. Because the older guys, they know they're like, they take it seriously, the education.
Yeah.
And then, but a lot of people, they treat it like 13th grade, and college isn't for them. And you could take that money. The thing that always blows my mind is student loan. Yeah, we'll give that to anybody. It, Meanwhile, if that same person wanted to say open a pizza shop or whatever, they have a business idea, they couldn't get a loan for anything.
No.
And
A- And that college debt, I mean, that's the only debt that's still like forced to be paid even if you die,
yeah,
I think, or something like that. Or if you like go bankrupt, like you'll still owe that. Like you can't get rid of that.
yeah, the
Crazy.
solution isn't to make, and I don't think the solution is to make college free. Like I've heard that,
I agree.
because all that'll do is the colleges will just raise the prices of everything,
Sure.
because that's what's happened. But it's to make the college more affordable. And colleges are so weighed down with, they've got so much like administration,
Hmm.
and you go to like Europe and you look at some of their colleges, they don't spend millions of dollars for like a student center.
Right.
They've got like a basic thing. Their gyms aren't top of the line. Because what is college about? Like a fantastic gym, or is it about like learning and the experiences you get?
Oh yeah, exactly. And I think to go with what you're saying, I think COVID is going or has exposed a lot of that. A
Right,
lot of that, just because people are doing, classes and things like that remotely. Because like, I mean, I went to college like 40 minutes away from my home. So I lived at home my first year, and I got like an apartment outside of like not on campus, but like I wanted to have that college like
right,
life, so to speak, because I was going to school, and I was leaving school right after I was done with classes to go home and work at the grocery store I used to work at.
right.
So I wanted to have that kind of like that somewhat college experience, but not live on campus because it was a fortune. But it just, I don't know. I mean, what's that worth?
Yeah, like,
What's that?
well, it yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm kind of crazy. I think that that there's something to be said about like, so my father was in the service, and I think that was their college back that generation.
Sure.
That's where they met other people and gain their skills. And I feel like that sometimes gets like the short end, but maybe there could be, I think some sort of national service would not be the worst thing for this country. Like,
Well, no,
and,
and I mean, it's
and
such
I'm
a,
not like not, and I don't mean like everyone has to join the military and shoot guns. Like, do forestry service or inner city redevelopment, working with that
right.
kind of thing. Just something like maybe before you start college to give you an idea, maybe what you might be good at or not good at. I don't know.
I think it's a great point. I mean, there's no reason that you should be 18 years old and be forced to figure out the rest of your life at 18.
Right.
Like that's silly. I mean, we're different humans now than we were at 18. And we're different humans at 25 than we were at
Right.
18.
Right.
Just like,
Well, I mean, it's so silly. Think about I don't know what you majored in. I mean, I majored in politics, so
I majored in marketing with a minor in biz ad. But
yeah,
the thing about my marketing degree is the world of marketing. I mean, there's I think
yeah,
a foundation that still exists, but I mean,
yeah.
the way
It's like
advertising,
journalism.
it's
Is it the
different than it
same?
was 20 years ago.
Yeah, if you took journalism 20 years ago, what is relevant that you learned in that class to today? It's completely marketing again, exactly. You're not looking for print ads and different things. You're looking for how you're going to run the best, social media campaign you can or whatever.
Yeah. And that happened like I feel like that happened overnight. I feel
Right.
like I mean there was MySpace. I thought it was like the most popular social media platform, and then Facebook existed. I think even Facebook it was before MySpace, but MySpace was more popular. And then Facebook took off. I think it was like 2009, 2010, I want to say, and it hasn't slowed down since. I
Yep.
mean, those guys have more money and more power than the president of the United States of America.
Which is insane.
Insane.
I'm, we, and it just gets hoarded. It's,
Yeah, the rich get richer, and
like it's the trickle down did not work.
no,
Economics.
and I'm not mad at Jeff Bezos. I'm not mad at
No,
Bill
I'm not.
Gates. But like they,
But like how much I get mad. You know what? I do get mad though when I'm reading about these guys who have to like piss in a bucket
sure,
in the Amazon and they're passing out because there's not enough air conditioners in there.
yes,
And when your company is making that much, you should all your employees should be able to be afforded, a humane workspace and treatment and pay.
yeah,
I mean,
that should be the
like,
job that everyone wants. Like, I need to work at Amazon. Like, what do I have to do to get there? Like, that's
yeah,
the
what do I have to do to be an Amazon warehouse guy? Like
or
I'll do
driver or
that.
whatever.
Right. But instead and nobody blinks. Like they're like, oh yeah, that Bezos guy, he really is hoarding a lot. Let me put in another order. And that's fine.
You're
Like,
right, though. You're right. We as a society too. I think you know we kind of operate on what's convenient, whether that's
yeah. Well, and I use Amazon too. It's fantastic to be able to get something by like Friday. Your kid's having a birthday party on Saturday. Boom,
Mhm.
it'll be delivered by Friday night.
Yeah,
But I mean, so Amazon is overall I appreciate it, but I just think again it's weird too. Like, do you remember ever getting deliveries on Sunday? That's insane.
I know, but it's also awesome.
It is, but I feel maybe that again is that really necessary? You
It's one of those things. I don't think that people should work holidays either, but there are
Yeah,
people who do, and they do it because they need to make money. They need to make a
and somebody
paycheck.
needs to do it because we all want
Somebody needs to do it. It's
we want to eat out on a July 4th, maybe.
well, don't do that. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and then going back to what you're saying about college too, making it more affordable. Like, how are we going to get better as a society? I think that's done by making people smarter and educated.
Well, and I think it's done by making people not just forced into what's going to make them money right away either.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we have some of our most brilliant minds become, Wall Street guys. when they could be brilliant surgeons, but
Yeah.
they look at it and they're like, I'm not going to invest that much money and time for a payoff that's going to come way down the line. I mean, other countries have it right with some things. I mean, like I think it's Sweden where the cost is cheap to go to college, but everybody lives kind of. There's not a big, like, nobody's making this huge bucks. The median's just more here. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
But,
I think
at the same time, it's a confusing thing because one of the things that makes America great is that drive to make money creates innovation, and
right.
it's what we still have over any country in the world is that we innovate, and nobody can innovate like in Americans.
Yeah.
We really do.
And I think that the idea behind universal basic income was to be able to, like, so people weren't, wondering how they're going to pay their mortgage or how they're going to like pay for their groceries and things like that, so that they could have time and have freedom to explore
Right.
passions and their love and things like that, as opposed to what you said, like, oh, well, you know what, I got to make money, so I'm going to go do this and not find those avenues. But I mean, what about you though? I mean, like, are you still working a full-time gig and doing the Bluebeards on the side, or are you killing it? Are you killing it and raking in that money? And you're like, oh man, that beard money is just
fun. Well, you know what I did? So I guess it was my son's turning 9. So yeah, it was about 8.5 years ago. I worked for a big corporation and I did contract work. Like basically, I got people to say they would agree in a contract that they would say nice things about our company, not Bluebeards, the corporation.
Right.
It wasn't very hard work, but they merged with some other company and they started talking. It was a very high stress place though. Like we had one of those managers who would come in and they'd be like, I hear layoffs are coming, this was every other week you'd be hearing this. But we were doing really well with Bluebeards. Like I was packing a ton and we didn't have any help with it at that time. So my wife's like, you're going to have to quit that job because I make more than you do. And we really, you don't need to do it, right? Like, it's too much right now. And I said, well, I tried to do it as long as I could. I said, well, they're doing this merger. I said, maybe I can get laid off. Like, and then I can collect some money too. Wouldn't that be great? I've been paying into this. It'd be nice to get some money back.
Sure.
From some unemployment. And so I spent 2 months trying to get laid off. And I would go into my office. My manager could not stand me by the end of it. And I felt bad for her, but at the same time, she could be tough.
Yeah.
But and she knew, like, at one point there was me and another guy, and I knew he had like a young family and this was like their only income. So I said to my manager, I said, listen, I know that these layoffs you're talking about are coming. If you need to pick one of us on the team, like I'm okay with it. Like you can lay me off. I'm doing okay. Otherwise I will be all right. And they heard that and decided they figured like, well, we really don't want him to go then because I don't know what it was, but they laid off the other guy and they kept me around. I think they wanted to probably lay off 2 of us, but they figured I would quit beforehand. They're like, oh, is that what he said? He's got one foot out the door.
Right.
So for 2 months, we both made each other miserable until finally I had to quit. Yeah. And that was that.
It's amazing how they can do that too. Like, what a world.
Well, it's done so cold. The companies, I always found this funny. If you're leaving your job, they want you to give that at least the 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they fire you, they'll have security right there that same day, right?
And I mean, I don't know what state that was in, if it was
or
PA,
layoff,
but
whatever it be.
yeah, but PA is an at-will state, so you
Yeah,
can either, get fired or quit. And
it was PA. Yeah.
but yeah, and then like I don't like the idea of places like making you sign non-competes. Like I get it if like you are like in this high position job where like maybe you're curing cancer or something like that. But
Yeah.
like I was in radio sales, and they made me sign a non-compete, and I was
You?
like, yeah, it was just like so they I mean, I'm in sales, like
Yeah.
I don't get it. But I mean, I guess like they don't want you to. I mean, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when like maybe you had trade secrets, or like you couldn't I don't know, access people as easy as we can now with
Well, I
technology.
guess
And
they want your contacts, your black book.
well, right, yeah, I get it, but I mean, people aren't stupid. Like if I got fired, I can go on
Yeah.
social media right now and say, hey, they fired me for X, Y, and Z. And if people I worked with saw that and was like, oh, well, hell with them, I'm going to not advertise with them anymore.
Right.
Whatever. Like these days, I don't think it's as important.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with like them being able to hold your feet to the fire and not allow you to earn a living for however long it might be.
Well, that's kind of nuts. I didn't know they did that with you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to like in the industry. So if I was to leave, which I did actually back in January, I could not for 6 months. I could not work for you know a management or a sales job for like TV or newspaper or things like that for 6 months.
that's really weird.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I signed it the first time when I first went there, because I actually went there, I left, and I came back and then left again. But when
You
I
go,
first
is that where you're going back to? I'm kidding.
no, 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 I left in January. I work for a screen printing company called Axelrad Screen Printing.
Yeah,
If you
I
need
saw that. Yeah,
merch, let me know. We'll hook you up.
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but great company. It's a growing company. Do a lot of cool stuff there. It's a young group. I don't even know who the oldest person in the building is, but I mean, if they're over 50, I'd be surprised. It's young crew, and um, it's wild. It's a lot of fun, and
It's something new,
yeah. And
which
I've
is
known
good.
the
New is good. I mean, that's where with my company, I love it. I love beards, but I try and do other things too on the side. You gotta. I love music. I write when I can. It, you can't stay focused on. I used to wonder like how someone could be an actor or a musician and you read about them and they're retiring.
money.
Like who would retire from it? But then you do a job for a while and you say, yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah, they also have enough money that they could retire,
Yeah,
not
right.
care.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, so I was the first time I said to my boss, I'm like, wait, I can't work in like media and sales is all I know. And they brushed it off. They said something like, oh, that's just like whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. I signed it away and whatever. I
I'd
left.
be
And,
curious to see how hardcore they would have been in trying to enforce that because any kind
yeah,
of enforcement of that costs money, on their end. So
right. I
they have
don't see it
choice.
being like worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, hey, it led you to something new.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it was one of those weird things like, COVID flipped everyone upside down. And for me,
COVID
it
was
was
crazy. I mean, it was tough for us too. Our business, we had so it was weird. We did well, but then there would be these like supply shortages. So
right.
I'd be trying to get bottles for like the product, and I couldn't, and it, we just wouldn't be able to sell a certain product for a month, and that sucks. I mean, when somebody's trying to come in on something.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about that because I assume that, and I don't know the business, but I assume that there are rules and regulations you need to follow. So whether
Yeah.
it's, ingredients, the labeling, like the bottles, like You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to start a company and I'm put some
Yeah,
stuff in a
so
bottle and sell it. Like there's
like
probably rules you got to follow.
we have to source the bottles, so that's one component. You have to source the labels, unless it's screen printed right on the label. Which so for the wash, that's right on there. But the other
Yep.
bottle, that comes. So the mint saber that you have, that's a label that we get, and we get that locally made. Um, uh, but that has to go with the manufacturing plant. So all these things go over there. But yeah, they were there was like a run on like the caps. Like we couldn't find caps for
Yeah.
the savers, and
I
you
don't
know
think
that
people understand.
and it all it's that just like puts a throttle on everything. And then because everybody was shipping costs went up, and just everything kind of all the costs kind of went up because of this pandemic. And it I think it'll rotate back down as things normalize, but it's taken a while.
Well, everything. I mean, like the food, the chicken, the beef, the all that stuff. I mean, we're experiencing, prices increase with ink and even
Yep.
garments. Like, I mean,
Bluebeards prices have not gone up in ever, so
there you
we've
go.
pretty much kept them the same price.
Bluebeardsoriginal.com. But
But
like, try and
I
find a
don't
trick.
want to be too salesy. I see this kind of stuff makes me nervous. I'm not. There's some people love like putting their face on everything and trying to get in front. And you would think I did a little bit of acting in my youth, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. I had a couple shots at some like national commercials and things. But like I said, I went to school for political science, but I had a friend who was an actor, and I tagged along with him on a couple of auditions, and got some like interest. But
Name the biggest feature you were ever in.
oh
Other-
god, I've been in no features. I've been in like I don't even know what the movies were. I remember the one I do remember was it was an independent film, and it was about a guy who was supposed to get married but decided he was gay or something. And it was a scene at a nightclub, and we were all supposed to be dancing. And the director came to me. I'm 6'3" with the red hair. I think after a certain height, the taller you get, the worse the dancer you tend to become. And
Imagine that. Yeah.
he came up to me and he's like, you know what? Why don't you just try and lean against this pole here? Really cool. Like just look really cool leaning against the pole. So that was fun.
Well, Paul, you are in the company of a man who was in Sex in the City.
Oh, nice. Very
Oh
cool.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Speaking role or no?
No, I was a background extra. One of them got married. I was like in the foyer of a church.
Well, I did work. I also worked. I interned at MTV for about a year,
You mean
and
Carson Daly?
I did. And it was when the TRL was just starting, so it was like there was a couple hosts, and I remember so sometimes they would throw us on as background, but I remember I got to meet Charlize Theron when she was like just starting,
Oh, hell yeah.
and different bands. But that was a fun time. That was when MTV still played music and all, barely.
Yeah, I don't have cable anymore, so I don't even know what MTV does
It
these
just
days.
rotates reality shows day and night and movies, which is bizarre, but
Yeah,
that's what
that's.
it does.
I mean,
But I
it is
love
what it
music
is.
too. I mean, I interned for I do you know of course you probably heard of Jeff Buckley.
Yeah.
So I after he passed, but I worked for his management company, and it was really cool. I got to meet his mother, and like I helped translate like liner notes and things and I got to see where he wrote all his music. Like he had a notebook and everything, and I was a big fan. So for me, it was a pretty cool gig to have. But
That's awesome.
yeah,
And you said you write music?
I fool around, but I
Yeah.
mean, a friend of mine, we used to back in our youth, like play in the basement all the time and record stuff. But it's my guitar actually I need to get it fixed. I have a Strat that could use a Fender, American made.
There you go. You get old, man. You get older, kids, wife, business. It's
so that's something I didn't even talk about with the business. Like the best part of Bluebeards for me has been that it's afforded me. So when I left the full-time job, I had a little girl and a newborn son, and we had been paying a nanny to like help take care of our kid during the day. And my wife worked out of the house. She was so she could be around, but you have someone else raise, and I think that kind of sucks. It's hard to not be there for your kids. So like not have either parent. It's tough.
It's harder for moms too because they have that mom guilt no matter what.
Oh yeah, I remember my mom said to my wife, like she said, "Oh, you're gonna like have to get daycare," and we're like, "Well, yeah, mom, like that's kind of how it is nowadays. You have to do that." So when I left the full-time job, it afforded me time with my kids to help with that, so they weren't. We would have like some help, couple hours a week versus 40 hours a week. So
yeah,
and that was really cool. Like you can't put a price on that. Like just
no. And I mean, with COVID,
from fast, man. I mean, how old's your kids?
I have one right now. He's 3.5. Just turned 3.5 on Sunday. And one good thing, if anything, from COVID was the job I had. We worked from home for 3 months, and my wife was going every other day to work. So we got some quality time together, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he was always a mama's boy. He still is to this day, but like he always said, whatever, like if there was two of us there, it was, I want mom to do this, I want mom to do that. And it just to the point where like, I'm like, dude, like mom needs a break. Like she worked all day too. Like the last thing she wants to do is like I'll give you a bath, I'll put you to bed, whatever it is, like I'll do it. And not just because I wanted to, but also I wanted to like have my wife like just take a breather for a minute, But I think we kind of bonded over the course of the 3 months there. So
well, and that's like I'm so happy things are opened up, and concerts are starting again. I'm going to one in Bethlehem in July.
Which one?
Bright Eyes. They're playing that Steel Stacks, I think it's called, or something. It's near the casino. They haven't played in years in the area, so it should be good. And then we're thinking of taking the kids, because mine are now 8 and 12, to the Dead and Company at Hershey.
Oh wow, cool.
I figured that's like a good one. Like it's not gonna be rowdy or anything.
Right.
I mean, how bad could it be?
So like that smell doesn't exist. Like just it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be all right.
It'll be legal before you know it.
We've been to Colorado with them. They actually we were in Colorado literally like 2 weeks before this pandemic dropped big time, and I know that we were probably exposed because we took a plane there.
Sure.
The town we were in had to close after 2 weeks because they had so many cases. So.
Wow.
But yeah, getting back to the pandemic, I mean, that's one of the cool things is, and I hope businesses see that, like, you can give your employees, like, let them work from home every, a couple days a week. It's not going to kill your business. You don't need, I mean, it's good to have offices and people mingling. I think that there's value in that too, but it doesn't have to be, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever it be.
Dude, I'll never forget this because like the company I worked for, not the one I'm with now, not Axelrad, the radio stations, they're so hardcore, like 8:30 to 5:30 every day. If it snowed, you better get your ass to work. To the point where it was March of 2017, I think it snowed 2 feet here. I had a Honda Accord. I mean, the snow was like up to the window. Like I wasn't like the city I lived in was under like they under lockdown. They're like, you know, don't leave,
Yeah.
state of emergencies type shit. My boss, like, so I had like the GM, but the boss that I like my sales manager, also he had a Jeep, 4-wheel drive vehicle. He's like, staff, stay home. Don't worry about it. There's 2 feet of snow outside. You're not going. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't.
Yeah.
After it was all said and done, like a week later, we get a memo note from ownership saying, you know, you will be charged a vacation day if you did not come to work that day.
Uh,
Those of you who, you know, did come to work, thank you. Here's like a $25 gift card to Garrity's or some shit like that. And I'm like, I laughed. I'm like, is this for real?
yeah. And what's the
Like,
point of that? Like, there's no point other than like trying to keep your. Is it to purposely make their employees miserable?
it has to be because,
Like,
like, I
hey,
mean,
just in case you thought you were working somewhere that you liked, no, we don't give
no,
a F
we don't
about.
like you. Yeah. I mean, like, we worked, like, we're salespeople. Like, our majority of our business comes from the local people. So even if I got to work,
Yeah,
who am I going to call? Paul, who's
right.
out plowing his.
Yeah, yeah. You're selling into it's.
It was amazing. It was the craziest thing. I all I could do was laugh, and I'm like, this is the like, you know what? Because it was like, oh, well, what are we supposed to do for the people who actually, you know, came into work? All right, here's an idea. Here's a mind blowing idea. Give them an extra day of vacation.
Yeah, reverse it. You know.
There it
There you
is.
go.
There it is. Like I don't understand. This is crazy. I,
And what was really done that day? Yeah,
nothing.
it's it.
Nothing.
That's what I'm. The only thing I hope is that the pandemic made companies realize there's even some benefit to letting people like turn the lights off on a Friday. You know what I mean? Just keep the place empty. You'll still survive. The company will still be making its money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, um, you know, the studies that have been done, but they're saying that some people are more productive at home. I don't think I could be one of them.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
especially with a three-year old.
well,
That
exactly, because I mean that's what was tough for me going through. You know, I was required to work, and
well, we
I
had our
spent.
kids. Our kids are at school age, so if you
Oh
try to
yeah,
help,
for
like
I
I pretty much did nothing for like for
yeah
4 months was tough, But that and because my son, he's in second grade. My older one, she could handle her own stuff for the most part, but he's in second grade. I had trouble logging in and doing this stuff that they wanted him to do,
right
and it, it was tough for those kids. I mean, as soon as and my school district waited, they didn't make it like he was going back to 2 days. I guess it was late November, but they didn't go back for like full time until like February or something. So
yeah
that's just a long time.
yeah. My kids' daycare opened up middle of June when I had to go back to work, which was kind of good because it just I don't know what my job would not have allowed me to, you know, stay home
Yeah. This past June, you mean, or last June?
last June,
Oh, okay.
June 2020. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's a shout out to that daycare. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they put all new like air filtration systems in. They were shout out ABC Kitty Campus at Pittston.
well,
Um,
that I with the pandemic stuff, and I found it was so interesting to see how, like in our local school district, it became a very political issue,
everywhere.
and I don't understand it because to me it's a social issue. Like there's some people who can afford to just stay home and they have the kind of jobs that allow that, and or they have grandparents that can help out with the kids, whatever it be.
Sure.
And then there's some people like they need to be out of the house. They can't do that. And they can't leave their kids alone. And it I never understood though how it became like, well, I'm anti-mask, you know, so I'm a Republic. I'll go with the Republicans with this one, or I'm I'm all about masks. We should wear them everywhere and all the time, even when we're with our wives. So I'm a Democrat. Like
Yeah.
it just baffled me that this became an issue that became politicized. I don't know.
It's amazing. It really is. I don't want to get into politics.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
And I mean,
I don't either. I mean, because I see sides from.
both.
I try to be pretty
Both.
open minded. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was I was raised to have a different view with like when it comes to social programs, like I said, my dad had to quit uh, his bar to go get a job so he could have insurance to save my brother's life.
Yeah.
His opinion for that was like that's why we need those things. Like,
Yeah. And
healthcare, I'm all for that. Like
I have no doubt that you and I could have an educated, thoughtful conversation about
right.
it, but people don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
we're more divided now, I think, than we were ever before. I mean,
we are, and part of it's just like people love fighting, and they want like we treat everybody wants to just be right, like
yeah.
they don't like you could have a problem and there's solutions to it, and then there's being right about the problem, and people would rather be right than have the problem get solved. I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
They'd rather say, I told you, like, the reason that exists is exactly how I said it. I told you, you were wrong.
Yeah.
But the problem to it, yeah, who cares? I just want to be right. Like, and that's just where we're at for everybody. And it's really sad. And I don't know.
Yeah, we're so tribal too. It's like if you're not on my side, you're the enemy, and it's like
we are with everything.
Why do we have to pick sides? Why can't we just talk about what's beneficial on this point of view and beneficial what's on this point of view and meet in the fucking middle? Because it's just
nobody's meeting in the middle.
Nope.
Yeah, there's the common ground is a bad word anymore, and that's just like sad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least we all love beards. So
we love beards. My wife loves beard.
And I'll admit, I have like when I did that shave, I said to my wife, I'm like, I have a very punchable face now. Like beard on, I look totally different. I've done bike fests and stuff, and I can blend right in. It's nice. But you don't have a beard, they wouldn't. Those dudes.
Well, I had friends who worked in the medical field. So when this all happened with COVID back, last year, everyone thought that you had to have one of these masks that was tight to your face. So my friends who were doctors and working in the medical field, that like they had to shave their face, and I'm like, this is terrible. Like if COVID did anything terrible, it forced people to shave their face, to wear masks, because
I didn't even think of that.
I had one friend, oh my god, we would all jump on.
I missed a marketing opportunity there.
Yeah,
for all those people growing it back once they shaved it.
Yeah, man. I had we were on like a Zoom call. Like I have like 5 like close friends that we're always in same group chat. We were doing Zoom calls when we were all locked down, and it was one's in Colorado, one's in Pittsburgh. There's 3 of us here. One was in Hershey, and the guy that was in Hershey, he had to shave his face, and I'm like, dude, you look ridiculous. Do not ever do this again. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, it definitely, like, a beard is like, I've always said, what's cool about it is you can, as a man, we don't have makeup. We don't, we're not dyeing our hair crazy colors or anything. It's our best form of expression for us.
Right.
And I'm not like, you can just, even if you have like a weekend, you let some stubble go. I mean, it's nice to just, like, I've always been about our products to, yes, it's cool when we have guys with 5-foot long beards using it, but like if you're just, 1 inch, half an inch, that our stuff works for you too. So
yeah, it's a great product. Like I said, this is old. The packaging is probably newer, So Paul did not just send me this recently so that I could hold it up on this podcast. Actually, I don't even know if I assume I got it from your website, but
I didn't. I thought about that. I was like, I should really send him some before the show, but
I
then
mean,
I'm like,
if you want to send me some for after, that's fine too.
I will send you some for it. And a shirt too.
I got it. I have a shirt. It's somewhere.
You're not a motorcyclist, are you?
I'm not.
Oh.
No, don't let the beard fool you. For me, the reason I have a beard is because as I got older, my face kind of filled out, gained some weight, and so the beard really for me hides the fact that I don't have a strong jawline. So I can really.
It really does help with that. Yeah.
I mean, it creates creates the jawline for me. So that's why I have a beard. I literally am like, I hope I never have to shave because I'm kind of scared to know what I would look like because I can just feel there's not enough. Yeah.
Now, would you agree that there's definitely not the same stigma though that there was maybe even 5 years ago with beards? Like
the stigma being what?
Like I used to go to a checkout at a store, and you would get treated just a little differently sometimes based on having a beard.
Like better or worse?
Worse.
Worse. See,
more suspicious. Like I don't. Maybe with me, I had a really long one, and like I said,
I've never.
So I think maybe I was intimidating, but I don't think that's the case as much anymore. I think people are pretty.
It's not, and I'm worried about the day that they kind of disappear because I'm not shaving mine off. Because I remember, like, I feel like when my dad, he also passed away, 15, 16 years ago. He had a beard, but like beards were not cool. Like you knew he was a dad. Like, oh, you have a beard. You grew up in the 70s. Like,
yeah.
Like we get that, like, but like that's not cool anymore. But you can do that because you're a dad and whatever. Yeah. But
yeah, now so you like me. I fear that like late '90s, early aughts. When Backstreet Boys were the thing and everybody had the short.
I mean, my first.
If that comes back, man, we got to look out.
Well, you know what? Going back to like my father and what I just said about him, I think we'll be okay because we'll be at that point where like, oh, well, you're a dad, so it's okay for you.
No, Johnny, you got to keep your cool cred though. You still got cool cred.
Maybe
you don't care so much. Yeah,
maybe, but
at some point you don't worry about it.
My first experiments with facial hair. I mean, I had the small goatee, but I also had that chin strap.
Oh,
remember the chin strap? Yeah, yes, I was in high school, or maybe early college, rather. Yeah, the chin strap. And looking back on that was not. I look back at that now. I don't know if it's because I'm older, and look back and be like, that looks terrible.
So I was a soul patch guy.
Okay. Oh, okay. I never did that.
Maybe a little too long. Yeah. Okay. I think I was a big fan of the Afghan wigs, and Greg Dooley had one, and I was like, oh, I'm going to grow that.
Okay.
It'll be just as cool. And I don't think it was.
No, it's not ever as cool as you think it is.
No.
But so where can people find you on the internet? I want people to go visit Bluebeards. I want people who have beards, or if you're married to a man who has a beard, you got to get some of this product.
Yeah, I mean that's oddly enough, like I can't just market to men because a lot of women will buy our stuff as a gift or just hint to their husbands or boyfriends or brothers and dads, like, hey, you need something. You can get www.bluebeardsoriginal.com. We're on Facebook, just search Bluebeards Original. We're on Instagram. We are on Twitter. I don't tweet enough, I guess.
I'm not a big.
It's like I said, it's a whole new world of marketing. If anybody out there wants to help promote our product, I'm happy to work with you. So maybe you have some listeners that are influencers, and we can hook them up to some stuff too.
And I don't think he ever answered the question. you said you quit your job. Are you doing Bluebeards full time?
Yes, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Making that big money.
More than ever though. Honestly, like I'm probably no. It's a lot of work.
I know. I'm kidding.
It's no, it's nuts. Like yeah, I'm right now
But
I'm
that's
like
awesome though. That's awesome. It's great.
yeah, it is. It like I said, it's awesome. I'm not around the kids as much as I wish because I'm really cracking at it right now, trying. But it's it's the cool thing about being a business owner is you kind of become a jack of all trades. Like I understand things that I probably like logistical things, shipping, how to build websites and this and that. Like you can't. I mean, from running this show, you you got to these skills that you just have to learn to keep it going and get it going. So, um, how that translates into other things, I don't know, but for running a business, it works okay.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's awesome. I always love hearing.
And I appreciate your show. I mean, it's crazy how things turn out. You wouldn't have this without other things happening, like 24-hour Christmas radio stations.
Yeah.
Is that really what happened? Does that still exist like that?
Yeah. So, well, the here's what happened. So that station. For anyone who cares, the station, the frequency is 92.1. It's been a variety of different things over the years, but they flipped it. I think it was 2010 to just FM 92.1. Then they kind of branded it as Fuzz 92.1, which is when I came on board. So like the station was it was new music. It was alternative. It was stuff that the top 40 stations weren't playing. It was something I loved. Like when that station launched, I was at the Weekender, which was a weekly entertainment publication. So I always felt like that radio station was like the radio version of this print product. But the print and radio were competitors. They were owned by different companies. So when the Weekender was falling apart, I jumped ship, went to the radio stations, working for Fuzz 92.1. That was for 13 through 17. So 4 years, it was Fuzz 92.1. And then they just renamed it to Alt 92.1. We got a new program director who came in from Detroit. I was talking to him at lunch one day. Said, I was talking to him about the local music in the area, how great I thought it was, yada, yada, yada. He's like, oh, I had a radio station or a local radio show in Detroit. I said, I tried getting that to happen here, but they looked at me like I had three heads and, I just, whatever. He said, well, let's do it. I said, yeah, let's do it. Who can we get to host the show? He goes, you. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea what it is to be on the radio. I can barely talk to someone face to face, let alone be on the radio. He's like, yeah, you'll figure it out. So yeah, did the radio show for 3 years. And I felt like there was another show in the market that also was doing local music, but like they were really focused on the stuff that was like cool 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There was like a segment of the market that like never saw the light of day. And I'm confident when I say this, like I really, shined a light on those people. And there's definitely a void since that show that I hosted is over. But going back to what you said, so November of 2020, they decided they want to change the station again. They don't want to be an alternative station. They want to appeal more to women because I'm sure you're familiar. Agencies and all those kind of people think that the only people that do any shopping are women. So they want to reach women who are listening to the radio, which I still think is bullshit because I don't know how you are, but I am at the grocery store more than my wife is.
Oh yeah, I love grocery. It's like zen for me.
Well, not just that, but like we're both out of the house. We both work. We're partners. It's not like she's at home,
that's
with nothing to do. Yeah. So whatever. They want to appeal more to women, so they flip the format. Now it's like they call it Q92.1, and it's 90s and now. They want to target women, so they said the show's on hiatus. So I said, okay, I know what that means, and you'll know what this means too because you'll appreciate it. them telling me that is like you telling your kids like, we'll see, or in a minute, or maybe. I know what that means. Like, you're just kind of like pushing me off to the side because you don't want to hear me, cry. But yeah, so if that didn't happen though, I wouldn't be doing this because it would have been a conflict of interest. I do miss
When
doing
I
that
met
show.
you, were you working for doing that or no? No, obviously.
So here's a funny story, dude. So when I met you in 2014 in Atlantic City, I had a boss that came in. He was a director of sales or whatever he was, and his name, ironically, was also Paul. He came in, and I had met him in a past life, and he was just not a stand-up guy, so to speak.
Gotcha.
And so he came in, like they were saying they were going to hire him. I'm like, that's not a good idea. This is a bad idea. Again, looked at me like, who are you? Like, we're going to do what we want to do. Hired the guy. He was like this. He's a nice guy. He had good ideas, but he's also a drunk. He can never stay out of his own way. And he eventually got fired because he came to work one day drunk, and he also disappeared for 5 days, probably on a bender. Anyways, so he came in and he wanted to like, shape things up. And he said to me, he goes, John, the handbook for the company says that every employee must be either clean shaven or very, trimmed and well groomed. At the time, I had a beard that was much bigger than this. And like when my beard grows out, it gets really kind of stringy. I can only grow my beard to a certain point before it gets really like, it's just not good.
It doesn't lay down well.
Yeah, it's like I said, it just gets, it's not even like I can't even use a beard product to keep it like together just because the way it grows. Long story short, it was right before I left for AC Beer Fest. And he sat me down in his office and he's like, you either need to like shave it or trim it down significantly. So I'm driving AC. I'm in the backseat of my friend's car. I had this whole campaign in my head, like, we're going to save Johnny Popko's beard, and we're going to raise, in doing so, we're going to raise money for a great cause. So I'm gonna tell this guy to go fuck himself, and I'm going to raise a bunch of money for a great cause and kind of embarrass him.
Right.
That was my goal. So I came back home. He said to me, he's like, I guess you're not going to, trim it or whatever. And I said, no. He said, okay. Shortly after that, he was fired anyways. But like, I was ready to go to war. I'm like, I will raise a ton of money to save this beard. Because like at the time, he had no idea who I was. And not that I'm anybody. I'm really not anybody. So anybody listening to this thinks I'm somebody. I'm not. But I had I was Johnny Weekender. People knew who I was.
Yeah.
People would find that to be bullshit when you're working for a classic rock station and all.
Yeah, to make you shave.
Yeah. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm not doing that. So, but it's really funny because I went to AC and the whole ride there, I'm like, how am I going to do this? Because I'm not shaving my beard. And not only because like I don't want to, but also principle. I'm like, my beard has no, does not dictate how I sell.
Yeah.
So.
And then you found us. So there you go.
I found you, me and my buddy Matt. Shout out Matt Fileski. We took our photo in front of your booth. We appeared on your Facebook.
Maybe we helped save that beard. Even.
Yeah, I got a brush that. I got a brush that weekend. I got a T-shirt. You
want to hear a crazy story?
Sure.
So during that, we went twice. We did it 2 years. The first year we went, and we only did it twice because the second year, the organizers, which were really nice people, but they had no security the second night. They said in the first year we packed up everything and then like put it away. They promised that we would have security if we wanted to keep our stuff there overnight. I came back. My products were all gone.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that happens. I filed a police report, but it's Atlantic City. I mean, no one died. So
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
That's weird. Yeah. I mean, like I know the guy who puts that on.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, like maybe there was some miscommunication, but they were like, yeah, you could put that, like, leave it overnight and we'll
Yeah.
have security. And then the next day it was already, like, I don't know if it got thrown out or whatever. But anyway, there was, so the first year this girl comes up and she is like really trashed. I mean, there's a lot of that at that event, but this girl was like barely standing. And she was telling us how she was trying to get back with her boyfriend, and he has a beard, and she kept asking how much the beard saver cost, and I think I just gave her one by the end. I was just like, here, just take it, like,
Oh yeah, go away.
go away. The following year, this was like a storybook ending. The same girl comes up to our booth, but she's soberish, but she's got her boyfriend with her, and she says they're engaged and that he loved the beard saver so much. They got back together. I'm not kidding. That's what she said. And I was like, wow, that's like the awesomest story I could ever hear about with my products involved.
Bluebeards does not only save beards, it also saves relationships.
It really does. And I mean, you gotta. So I do have a question. Like, do you use beard oils too, or?
So I stopped because I was, before I worked in the job I work in now, I was wearing a suit and tie to work every day, so I didn't want to get the oil
Right.
on the collar
Which is
of my shirt.
one of the nice things with the beard saver. It
Yes.
blends in really nice.
It blends in really nice.
I know. I mean, we make an oil, and it's super small batch made. I mean, this stuff, and we worked on the formula, everything, and it's natural. But I myself, I use it sometimes, but a lot of times I go with the saver because it doesn't get on my shirt,
Right.
which is like key to me. I'm amazed that so many people like have so many oils because it just, for me, it's a little messy sometimes.
Yeah, it's too messy. And then I feel like you added some new products to your line, and then I'll let you go because I've already kept you longer than I wanted to. But the was it a sea scrub?
Yeah, we wanted some stuff to just like focus on men's skin too. So trying to branch out a little further from just beards, you know. And that's gotten some really positive feedback. I'll send you some of that too.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that. I'm like, that
what we should do. I mean, for anybody who makes it through, this has been a marathon talk. I'm sorry. The comedy here was, I said to my wife, who helped me find the company, I said, I thought I was going to talk to this guy for about 10, 15 minutes, but I'm watching all the podcasts. A lot of these are over an hour or two. So,
well, I mean,
made it work.
We could have done it in 10 minutes. You could have came on. You said, "All right, I founded this and 205, and I have this and that other thing." That's a wrap. And you kind of did that. I'm like, okay, so that's it. And then I kind of opened you up a little bit. But like
that's your job. You're good.
Well, the goal of this whole thing is I want people to see you and you're a real person, and just talk about how it all started. Just it's this relaxed conversation. We talk about whatever we want to. Obviously, the focus is on
and that it's a really cool format. And I mean, I'm just honored you'd even have me because
dude, I'm so happy you reached out. Like, you have no idea.
Like, awesome musicians and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not a musician, I'm just a beard guy. My friends call me the beard guy, so it's very cool. But I wanted to say too, I'm going to put up a promo for a discount code for your listeners. We'll call it Popko, and maybe like 15% off anybody who listens to the show, and if they want to save on the website.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. And then get that to me earlier because I'll put that in like the description when I post this. It might not be until next week, but
yeah, the holidays coming up, I understand.
Yeah, this is not time sensitive too. And I'm still waiting. I have one coming up soon as well. So this might be
okay, cool.
But it's not time sensitive. I wanted to talk about, your business and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I mean, the focus is usually music, but I want to talk to people and learn about how they started,
Well, I think more than ever, it's huge. Like that's a big important thing, because just like local musicians, because I mean Philly's been always terrible at supporting local musicians. If you ask me, it could be there's not enough venues that accept them and stuff, and it's probably similar in your region. It's always hard for
Yeah.
musicians to get their word out there, and the same thing with businesses. I mean, we have so many corporate like Targets and everybody else move in. If you have something local and support it.
But if Target approached you and said, "Hey, Paul, we want Bluebeards original in our stores," would you do
We
it?
actually have been, and we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we've turned down major
Very
stores
cool.
because one, they just ask a lot. They want
Sure.
tons of product. We don't produce that level to cover that, and if we did, I think the quality would be affected.
Sure. Yeah.
We have a lot of a lot of higher end barbershops that carry us. They don't want to see our product in Target.
Sure.
We're really committed to those customers that resell us, and I know Target wants it margins down, down, down,
Right.
and then you know what? And I've seen this. You end up in Christmas tree shop, selling your stuff for $2 a bottle or whatever.
Yeah.
Just trying to liquidate it. So
Yeah.
that's how that works. But
That's cool.
thanks, Dan, for having me on.
Dude, I mean, it's so awesome to hear that you started this in your home, and what's funny too. You said a cottage industry, and I'm like, I was gonna write back. I'm like, oh, what now? I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't think he could have did a typo that bad. Maybe I should just do some research. And Google is available to us, so I typed in it. I'm like, holy shit, this is a real term.
Oh, you never heard the term?
No, never heard of it. Cottage industry. And it's basically just someone that starts a business in their home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're a cottage podcaster. There you go.
There you go. In my home. In my home.
Yeah,
dude, thanks so much. It's so cool to have met you 7 years ago, and at that time
maybe we can meet again at some events at some time.
Yeah, man, you're saying like Bethlehem. Like Bethlehem's probably, maybe halfway or
You
ish.
should go. It should be a good show.
Yeah. But I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. It sounds like things are going great.
Too.
And I'll definitely talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right. Thanks, dude.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you.